Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and today we are working on pumpkin. Pumpkin. We need to make it, since this is a realistic burning, I need to make it look realistic and have weight and no outlines. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Hey Teresa, Barb, David. Alrighty, so I need to wait till Burl and Sheila get in because they want for me to show some tips. They wanted me to show 3 different tips to compare it to the 18L, or I'm sorry, 18M, because they're trying to decide if that's something they want to buy. So, hey Sheila, before I forget, I'll wait till Burl comes in because she was the other one asking, but I pulled the tips, so ready. Alright, so I'm going to start with the 18S. And what I'm looking for is when you're burning... Oh, here's the kitty. Excuse me. I worked on the kitty a bit. Got him blocked in. But the weight is going to sit down at the bottom because this is a round, heavier, solid object. So the weight's going to be sitting down here. What I didn't think about earlier is my light source. I've got some, it looks like it's more coming, well, which way is it coming? The kitty's just blocked in. I haven't darkened anything yet. The reference shows the kitty getting hit by light this way, the raven from the top, and the pumpkin along the top. But I'm going to need to have shadows for the raven and whatnot in order to make it look like they all came together, and I didn't just do what I did and piece them together. Hey Greg. Hey Gwendolyn. Hey Spence. So I'm going to get started with the weight down here. I did print out a sepia one this time so I can see better. Bump it down to 3. And since I have the leaves, I'm also going to have shadows from the leaves at the bottom of the pumpkin. And where I have these lines, these are the indents, the... what would you call them on a pumpkin?
I don't know.
You're supposed to help. The dimples, if you will. That'll work. Dimples will work. So this is the darkest dimple. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to burn on the line. I put the line right down the middle so that I can burn up against it. Let's see here. Hopefully you can see that okay. And this one is the darker one, and it's also kind of broken up, so we don't want a straight line. So we'll get one side of it in, and then I can erase the graphite. And I'm just doing squigglies, because again, this is not, it's not a line, it's patterns of the dimple. But I do want to go in the direction of the pumpkin, because if I just burned up and down, it would feel flat. So if I go along, plus we got shadow in here from the leaves, so I'm taking that into consideration as I put the dimple in. And where the lighter dimples are, if I don't burn right up against the line, I'll get a highlight too. So I gotta keep that kind of planned out in your head what you want. And then I can go back and darken. And see, this is also going to have color on it. I'm planning on, at least for the pumpkin, because it's such a large area. I haven't decided if I'm using watercolor or colored pencil yet. Let's see here. So my printout is all patchy because I did it on draft and not waste ink. So let's get this in real quick. All the way up. And then by doing this side, I know I've got the other side, and this one goes all the way to the top, and I can switch sides. So I kind of break it up. I really don't want to be off camera. We don't want any direct lines. We're doing our shading, and we can, remember, we can always darken it up. So, and I will. So I'm not worried about that. I know where my line is now. So I can go ahead and get the graphite off of it. Like that. Brush, brush. And then lose my space because I didn't burn it dark enough. Whoops. Oh, I know this is here. And that's why I've also got a reference photo. So I'm not going to stress about it. And it's a pumpkin. They're not perfect. But there is a highlight next to it that I'll have to decide what to do. So let's get that in there. Go up this side. In fact, we can go up the middle now because that's where the darkest part is. And since I got rid of the... And I'm trying to make it sporadic. Not trying to make it a straight line. Kind of broken up, kind of squiggly. I can go a little darker. 3.5. Because this is the darkest area. And it's going to get darker at the bottom. And it's going to curve. So I'm just trying to, I could even use the ball tip for this. And the ball tip would give me texture. And remember, wherever there's grain that changes, it's going to burn differently. And that is just the fun of it. There's a little bit of white, like a wart. So let's get that in there. So I have to decide how dark, since I'm coloring the pumpkin, and I'm doing the pumpkin, the cat eyes, and maybe some leaves, not sure. So I didn't transfer, I've got line here, line here. I did not transfer the lighter dimples because I didn't want the graphite there to have a pain to erase. So this may look dark, but that's okay because the rest of the pumpkin is dark down here. So we'll go ahead and put some, and this does not have to be perfect, it's a pumpkin. They have texture all over them. Even if in the photo it looks smooth, they're not smooth. Not smooth. You see now it would go lighter away from that dimple, but it still would be darker because it curves. So we got to take that into consideration, that curve. This is in the middle of the dimple is the lightest area between the two dimples, but then where the dimples come out, those are darker, and then it goes lighter. And I know that sounds confusing, and I'll try to do at least one area so we can see it. So break it out so it's not a straight line. And this is a 9x12 trekell board. This one is the, oh, it's 1/8. I marked it as the quarter. So how is everybody doing?
They're just talking.
What are we talking about? I always feel like I'm out of the conversation. Because I am.
Yeah. Vero was talking with David about an acrylic painting he did of a pumpkin, I think.
Ah.
And David had snow the other day.
It's not fair.
And frosty where Vero is.
We're starting to warm up a bit.
Yeah, it's still cold though.
It's not cold.
My ears are cold.
No reason for them to be cold.
Oh, I don't know.
So I'm just trying to get these two dimples in so we can see. So this is a lighter dimple. And it has a highlight, a bounced highlight underneath because the lighting's going this way. And remember where the dimples come out, those are out. and more likely to get hit by the light versus the valley. It's the top of the hill. Probably the easiest way to explain it. But I do need it darker and have it come out. I'm going to have to decide if I'm going to have any reflective light hitting the bottom. Okay, since Burl's in now, and we got Sheila, right?
I believe so, yes. Yes. And they were talking about the pins.
Okay.
Burl was worried that she missed it.
No, I was waiting. So see, I'm going along with the curve. That's really important with any round surface, to go along with the curve in the shading. Alright, go with the curve. Alright, so real quick, what they wanted to know is what the 2B, 3B, and 18L look like size-wise in comparison to the 18M spear shader. So this is the 2B. I probably should hold it away so you can see the size a little. Autofocus is on. Did not realize autofocus. Let me turn autofocus off. Because if I don't, it's just going to keep bouncing. Sorry about that. Did not realize it. And we're off. Okay, so maybe I'm trying to figure out so that you can get the most accurate size. So that's the 2B, that's the 3B, and that's the 18L. Size-wise, the 18L is the largest. The 2B and 3B. The 3B is larger and has more of a round. So all those compared to the 18. The 2B is the closest in size to the 18M, and the 3B and the 18L are larger. So let's see here. That's the best way to do it. So 18L versus 18M. This is the 2B versus the 2B has more of an angle on it. Well, it's got more of a flat angle. It's just curved at the top. It looks like there's a little bit more surface metal with the 18M. And the 3B is bigger than the 18M. So hopefully that didn't confuse anybody. And I see David's asking a very pertinent question. Oh, hold on. I need a drink. We got hot cocoa in my resting witch face mug with cinnamon. Sugar. Do you want to read David's question?
Sure. Oh, about the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have winners.
We have 2 winners.
Yes, we do.
And a little bit of a mix-up that
are.
Yes, you do.
Well,
You know who one of them is.
I may know them, but I've forgotten who won.
That's why I wrote it down on a piece of paper next to you. Well, 2 of them are listed. We had a little bit of... There's 2 names there.
Oh.
Where have you been?
Sorry, I'm out of it a little bit.
How come?
This stuff went on yesterday.
Let it go.
So
technically 3... I wanted to preface this because the other person is in chat. There are 3 prints that will be going out, and that's because one person did say it first in group. I didn't see it, and he was unable to post on YouTube. He was having technical issues, of which have been resolved, and I wouldn't feel right not giving a print when he did guess first. So that is what I'm doing. That's what I've chosen to do. So go ahead and do the chat winner first.
Okay, so...
And they already know who they are.
Okay. Is the chat winner the one on top?
Yep.
Okay. So Spence, actually. And this came up when we were in the last live. And so he guessed, and of course we couldn't say anything because then that would like throw off the
Comments.
competition. So, but it happened like in the last 20 minutes of the...
Well, it was right after you gave the hint.
Yeah, broadcast. Yes, it was right after I gave the hint. So Spence is one of our winners, and then of course for the replay, Kim Graham.
Yep.
Is also one of our the other winner.
And Teresa is getting the third print. You're so far away and so quiet today. They can hear Moon better than you.
The backyard. Anyway, so yeah. So
Congrats.
Congratulations to the winners.
And what I'll go ahead and do is tell you, do we want to know who the celebrity is now that we're all done?
I mean, because they know.
They know. Oh, yeah, I've also, do I need to do it with Teresa because it's only fair. They've also already seen the reference photo. That I will not be posting, but I wanted them to know what they were getting. So they have already seen the reference photo, and I will hold off until the piece. I've already started the piece. It's going to be a pain in my tushy, but I have started it. Right here what I'm doing is just darkening up. I'm on 3.5 and I'm moving the pen quickly. So the celebrity piece that I'm doing is Jonathan Van Ness. If you don't know who he is, I highly recommend checking out Queer Eye on Netflix. I know Spence had not, and he binge watched all 4 seasons. Very positive. All 5 of the Fab Five are very, very positive. Just looking to help people. So I would like to honor that. And I love Jonathan. Yes, Queen.
Yeah, he's very positive.
Yes, he is. And he's got a new book out. In fact, I just got the book on Audible, but I haven't started listening to it. I had thought about listening to it while I was burning him, but I don't know how well I can burn through tears, so I think I might hold off. I don't know. I'm doing something a little different with that video. So that should be interesting. And I already started doing that last night. Alright, get my line back in here. Kind of going out to blend. See right here, the line needs to be thicker. So I'm curious how many people didn't know who doesn't know who Jonathan is. I'm just curious.
Teresa says he is handsome.
He is.
And I think David says I am jealous of that. I think because he didn't win a print.
Well, they will be available once the winners get theirs. So.
Of course, you gotta finish the piece, and
I've started it.
And that could take a while.
Hopefully not. Well, it's right there if you want to see how far I got. I only worked for like an hour last night. I only worked for like an hour. Trying to get this dimple in. No, go ahead and look, please. It's under his reference photo. Hopefully it'll keep you awake.
I'm awake. Oh yeah, so far it's looking really good. I mean, it's not a lot there. But I mean, for you, this is a lot of work.
Well, it's having a dark background that I'm
But it looks really good, and I like how you've done the hair, like how you've faded it out. That was probably a lot of work.
Not intentional,
Wow.
but I decided to go with the grain. I'm trying to let the grain do the work. And even here, we have some curve in the grain here. Use your grain. It's not a bad thing to use it.
Actually, there's a lot of people who don't know he is.
If you got Netflix, please, please, please go watch Queer Eye. If you're having a bad day and maybe feeling a little hopeless with whatever is going on, I'm going to go ahead and use the 3B. Go find it. It will definitely... I had it the first time. Jesus. It will definitely help your mood.
And
it's very positive and loving and peaceful.
A lot of people have a misconception about what the show is about, but what it is these 5 guys
who happen to be gay.
Yeah, they go to people who are basically not necessarily having trouble, although some of them are having trouble. They're people with obstacles in their life, I guess, or that are kind of stuck. But basically, they go in and this person, would get recommended by family member, a friend, for whatever reason. Like, hey, they can't get their life together, or they've been having.
They're kind of stuck.
Yeah, and
it's probably the best.
So they go in, and each one of these guys has a role to kind of like affect their lives. And so one guy will make over their house or their area.
Bobby.
Yeah, one guy will teach them about cuisine and
Anthony
maybe help them learn a dish. And
how to cook healthy for the stuff they like, and
they get made over, so that's
tan.
So fashion wise, they get updated because some of the people that they're on there,
I could so use tan and
they haven't updated their look in like 30 years sometimes, and because we get there's all kinds of people. There's grandparents on here, as well as 18, 19-year-olds. Well, actually, I think one of them was a 17-year-old, wasn't he? Or was he 18? The singer kid.
He had just turned 18 and was getting ready for college.
So there's all kinds of people, men and women, and
gay and straight.
Yeah, and all kinds of different ethnicities. And
I'd say most of them are straight.
So, and like one guy, one of the guys on the team also sort of helps them with the social aspects of their life, or maybe things that they're challenging them mentally or emotionally.
In fact, Chromo, I think, is the next one I'd like to do.
Yeah, and
beautiful skin tone, beautiful.
Yeah, and that's all 5 of them, right?
Bobby.
Makeover. Well, I thought I said make over their house.
Oh, you did. Did I say Bobby?
I think you did.
Oh, then.
Anyway, so it's about turning someone's life around for the better.
Well, helping them turn their life around, empowering them to make the changes.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay.
So
it's not about changing them. It's about taking who they are and helping them see the most fabulous version of themselves.
Yeah.
There's vets on there. The first season 1, episode 1, boy, I think that's the one that got me sucked in with the older man with lupus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which means I didn't have to watch long. I've watched the first 3 seasons 3 times. You watched it twice.
Yeah.
I don't like how I'm shooting with the 3B. So what I'm going to do is just switch over to the 2B See if I like it better. Sometimes what you're burning and how you're burning it, a pen may not feel right. Doesn't mean it's a bad pen. It's just not flowing with how you want to flow. And that pen could be better for something else down the road. Still a good pen, just not. And this one is the 2B. At 4, it's going to burn darker than the 3B because it's a thinner metal that's heating up. Who does Spence not? I know now. I now know who he is. Yes. I was so glad Spence liked the show. It's always hard recommending things. You don't know what other people are going to like.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people, well, not a lot, but several of my friends who had no idea what the show was, and they were turned off by the name or something like that, you know. And
But I think that's done on purpose as well. It's part of their identity. And there's that stereotype that gay guys dress better and do things fashion-wise better. And I think they chose to go along with it and use it for their benefit.
Yeah.
And some people are really hard on themselves and they try to really help that. So I'm still trying to darken up this area. I think I'm going to get this as dark as I want it. That way I have a visual for the other places. And see right now, because this nipple isn't very dark, it looks kind of flat. So it's kind of, when I darken it, but not in a straight line, pick up your pen and move around it a little bit. Maybe slow down in some areas so that one gets a little darker. And then blend it out, especially here at the bottom where the leaves are. We're not, right here in the middle, I'm not going to get a reflection, a bouncing of light. So it is going to be the darkest area. And see, with colored pencil, I could go over this with colored pencil, but I think the watercolor pencils, especially how I use, I scratch them out onto my Caran d'Ache palette to break off the pigment, and then use a damp brush, not a wet brush, to pick up the color. I think that goes better over burning, especially since this is going to be an orange. And if I remember right, in Prismacolor, the oranges may have an issue with light fastness, whereas the Albrecht Dürer are higher light fast. They're Faber-Castell. Let's see here. See, this one actually turned it too much. But that's actually okay. If it was anywhere else, it'd kind of throw it off a little bit. But here, it's fine. And I don't want any lines. So I'm trying to get right up to that graphite. And when I do that leaf, I will erase the graphite and balance it back and forth, because that's actually a much lighter leaf. Alright, so we don't have any lines. I am going to go ahead and switch over to my ball tip, because I actually want kind of a spotty look. So, switched over.
Hi to Jay?
I did say hi to Jay. Hey, Robin. Are you awake?
Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry.
Shall I tickle you?
No, you've got hot pens that you don't want you.
Hot pins and hot cocoa. I'm hot. And I wonder how many people just left when I said that. So anyway, The photographer whose photo I'm using, he's given me permission to use. He's over on Instagram, and his username is all one word, and it's at follow Philippe, with Philippe being spelt with an F. Just so you know, those photos are not suitable for work. He does beautiful photos of male nudes. And actually my Jonathan photo is a male nude, but I'm not doing the full photo. He does a beautiful job. Really dynamic photos. And he has done a couple of sittings with Jonathan. But Philippe doesn't do just nudes. He's also photographed the Obamas in Australia after they got out of office. This is definitely going to have texture.
Robin Short is here.
I said hi to Robin.
Did you?
But hello, Robin. Only I'm going to say it again because my husband obviously is over here sleeping.
No, I'm not sleeping. I just...
You sure? You sure? Okay, this is a little bit more texture than I want. What I'm trying to do is show... See, I just made this line darker, which is good because I think it'll work well for some of the shadows, like right here. I'll just go ahead and put it in just so I have it. We've got a dark here. So let's get that in there. And it's actually got a dimple. Remember, as on the sides, the dimples get closer on something that's round. And the dimples that are in the front, they're further apart in general, and they bend more towards you. And that's where you get your shape from. Now let's see here. I've actually been liking my 18S a whole lot. But I think, wipe it off a bit. My 18M.
Devin Lewis just described.
Well, thank you, Devin. Welcome. I did not see it. Did we have our... Did Bernadette announce?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, and don't forget to hit like. Why is my cord so twisted? Twisted cord. Alrighty, I think I'm untwisted now. Yep, I'm untwisted.
Amy says, I just stepped away. Did I hear right? The burning is of Jonathan nude. It's, well...
No, the burning itself, he is not nude. Well... Let me rephrase. If the kitty is his head, it stops at the shoulder. I'm not doing the full nude. And the photographer does know. Because when I asked to use the photo, I specifically told him. And he gave me the rights to sell the prints. I would really like to get the piece itself to Jonathan. And that's where I'm going to need people's help to help tag him and yell at him until he looks at it. I'm also going to ask Philippe, because I would like to send Philippe a print as well, since it is his photo. And he did give me permission to alter it. Because that's another thing with asking a photographer to use their piece. If you know you're going to be altering it in some way, you need to let the photographer know. That way they can make a final decision as to whether or not you use their photo. You never want their art to look bad. And they may not like your idea. And it's definitely worth something to talk about with the photographer. And see what you guys can figure out. I haven't dealt with too many photographers, but Philippe, because I tend to use either Pixabay or my own stuff. But I will say Philippe was extremely nice and actually really excited that I wanted to use his photo. I couldn't wait to see it. And I told him I couldn't have it done till November, and I was right. I was right.
Robin's asking, she says she hasn't been on in a while. Did anyone guess who you're burning that had that distinct hair? So that's kind of what we're in the middle of talking about.
Yes, we got our winners, Amy. It's Jonathan. He is the celebrity. So Spencer, Kim, and Teresa are getting prints. And the photographer. But I have no plans of showing the piece until it's done. Because he is definitely in his ugliest stage right now. Not like his ugly stage. My ugly stage of him. Probably should word that better. Jonathan's too pretty to have an ugly stage. Alrighty. And in this photo, he's got his full beard and mustache. So it's a newer photo. In fact, the photo itself was taken in May. In May. Alright. Let's get this in here. So all this is still going to be darker because the weight of the pumpkin sits at the bottom. So even with taking into consideration highlights and reflective light, this part is still going to be darker because the curve and the weight of the pumpkin pushes it down. And make sure we keep that. Don't want it floating away. So I'm at 4 with the 18M, moving very quickly. So that's how I'm getting a lighter burn. Part of the pin control. Don't want to connect that. Trying to get around the leaf. You see here, the line is actually not as pronounced. Kind of fades away. So I need to kind of fade it away. And then this part, remember I'm burning next to the graphite. This part is our darkest. And then we got a little dark with a highlight here, but see, I have to remember which way I, in the end, want to do my light source.
Spence's dog is watching you burn right now. He says he doesn't.
Hi, Texas.
He doesn't usually watch TV.
Hi, Texas. Who's being a good boy?
Oh, I didn't. I thought you.
That's the name of the dog.
I was looking for somebody in chat named Texas. I was like, I don't see anybody.
That's the name of Spence's dog. Let's see here. So if my lighting comes this way, more like this, the shadow of the raven would be on the other side. The leaf shadow would be directly behind the leaves. Because I'm trying to figure out the top. That's how the lighting's hitting. We've got light. We would have light based on how I've gotten the kitty. We'd have light here. We'd have some reflective light down here. The stem would have some of the raven shadow on it. But there would only be a direct shadow underneath the raven's claw. Yep, that sounds right. If not, we'll see. We will see it not being right. Alright, so now we're getting another dimple on. And see the highlights and how the light hits, that also has to be curved as well. And that is what's going to give the final look of your curved surface, is going to be the highlight. So I got to take that into consideration. Breaking up that line. We don't want it dark everywhere.
Beryl wants to know how the gallery.
Had a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that.
It's always interesting to do a gallery show because each gallery is different, and so there's a ton of people, but a lot of those people are tourists, and so they're looking for like jewelry and things like that. We didn't have anybody like that are, I guess, fans of our work or patrons or anything like that stop by. So there's a lot of strangers. It's always good to be in a gallery for different reasons, because you've got the exposure, and you can get feedback about your work, and you might learn something about the exhibition, or how to exhibit. So I'd say that overall that it was a really positive experience just because of the learning aspects of it. But
and every gallery is different.
Yeah, we didn't sell anything, but like you've already sold a piece out of there, which is nice. It's awesome. I was not expecting to.
Yeah, the bus kept coming with more tourists.
Yeah.
So there's waves.
And that's always an issue when you have a gallery that's packed. And that's why if you look at a lot of galleries, like galleries serve different functions. And like if you look at some galleries that there's a wide open space, and they're not salon style. Which salon style is when you've got the wall full of art, and gallery style hanging is usually in the vertical space, like from floor to ceiling. There's only one piece of art that occupies that space, from left to right.
The minimalist.
Yes.
I can't say it.
Minimalists.
Thank you.
So they don't overlap, and that's for a reason, so that people can like consider each work on its own, and it cuts down on traffic. So, but when you're dealing with...
And there's more motion. Everybody's like moving.
Yeah, when you're dealing with a gallery that is...
this is more of a co-op. I just happen to be the figure artist.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different environment. And it's definitely salon style, because paintings and art and jewelry and everything are jam-packed in there. So... but it's always nice. It's always appreciated to be invited, and hey, we went out.
We went out. We're going out tonight too. We got VIP tickets. We got VIP. Yes, we're going out tonight too.
Yeah.
Gotta put some makeup on again.
So yeah, we're going out tonight to.
I don't know if anybody's gonna know who these people are either.
Well, are they touring under JK Studios?
They are.
Okay, so but they are also affiliated, and they're kind of transitioning away from.
Well, they left
Studio C. And they're a comedy troupe.
Love them. Funny.
So if you want to, there's hundreds and hundreds of their videos under Studio C, and they're a lot of
building
really,
up there.
really funny. So JK Studios is within the last year, so there's not as many, but if you want to know who they are, I Google Scott Sterling, and then just go from there. Like honestly, that's what
on
I tell
YouTube.
everybody.
On YouTube, yeah.
Scott Sterling. So it's greatest soccer shootout ever with Scott Sterling, and
is that the name of it?
Yeah, and it'll have I think over 1 million views.
Oh, it's got more than that.
Yeah, well, yes.
You got
But they're really talented. They're really funny.
We got VIP.
For those
tickets.
of you that have kids,
they can watch it with you.
Yeah, because they do family-friendly comedy, and it's not the kind of
they don't cuss. That's more. There are times it has kind of a Disney feel where there's some innuendo that maybe a kid doesn't understand, but the adults do.
Yeah. So, and they do a lot of pop culture stuff. So there's a lot of Harry Potter stuff. There's Star Wars stuff. That's superhero stuff. And like they're really legitimately funny, and like sometimes when people do like family safe comedy, it comes off as super lame, but
dad jokes.
But these guys don't at all.
No,
they have a legitimate sense of humor, and we've been watching them now for like 4 years,
something like that.
And they're coming to Flagstaff, and we get to see them tonight.
Yeah, they're doing their first tour, and it's a 10-city tour. And Flagstaff's their first stop in Arizona.
Which is weird.
I know.
Because nobody comes to Well, I won't say nobody comes to Flagstaff, but nobody's come to Flagstaff in a while. At least not that we have.
Well, that's not true. We just didn't go to that one. What's his name?
Yeah.
I went blank.
So definitely, like, Scott Sterling. Like, if you want to prank somebody who hasn't seen him, you're like... Because... If you're not really paying attention, you're like, initially you might think that this is like something that's actually, because they do a good job, because they have, it's affiliated with their university, so they have the assets of the school. So like the soccer shootout is like, it's filmed like a sports cast, and I was pranked initially, and I was like 3/4 of the way through it before I realized, like, wait a minute, this is no way. But it's fun to watch people's reaction to it. So, yeah. And they have a ton of really funny stuff.
Yeah, they do.
I typically like rewatch some of their stuff like when I'm in the mood, because they have like playlists of like Harry Potter stuff, and then they have a bunch of Star Wars skits, like I said. And, it's just a bunch of funny stuff.
Oh, okay, so I had to go back because I see they're talking about the 17SR. I had to go back and this is a 17SR, the regular Corsair. This is the modified. This allows, huh?
I don't see it's buffering, but my video just froze.
You may have to restart it. It was acting funny. So this does do better curves than... This is great for straight lines, and you can do straight lines with this. But for curves, you're able to twist it in your fingers. And that's why I had Pat change this one into this one. So you can get both. But that's how they look different.
There's a lot of nuance there in the change, isn't there?
Well, you've got the curve here, and it's got a shorter foot that's touching the wood itself. But I would say, let's see here, I'm using it this angle, but this one I can curve down. I can use the bottom of it. Both of them, you can use the tip of them. But this one is going to have a harder time curving than this one. See, I can curve it with my finger. And that's why I have the change. That's why it's modified. So hopefully that helps.
Also in the news.
It is not on the website. Put it down. You can either call Pat. He's in the process of doing so many stuff. He does want to redo the website. You can either write it in the special comments down at the bottom of the website on the order form saying that you want it, or you can call and ask for it, or email him. Or when he calls to verify your order, you can tell him that too. Sorry, go ahead.
Valarie got 2 of her pieces accepted into the It's Elemental show.
Yes.
The Center for the Arts. When do you have to take those up there?
October 23rd. Next Tuesday and Wednesday is when they're doing drop-offs. I'm back.
Yeah. Okay. So Beryl says you have to order in comments. He hasn't added it to the website.
Yeah.
So order 17 and put want SR type comments.
Yes. Okay. Or when he calls, because he always calls to confirm.
Yeah.
So I don't want any dark lines here because we've got more light hitting here. So trying to break it up a little bit. I'm also trying to get some highlights in here that I'll blend out. And remember, once I can remove the graphite because everything's blocked in, areas are going to be darkened where I can see it better. For right now, this is just so I can get the graphite off the board.
Okay.
Let's see here. Next week, what do you guys want next week? Do you want the leaves or do you want the raven next week? And if you can tell me about what you'd like me to focus on, whether it's the raven or the...
Beryl is wanting to know where the new show is. It's at our Coconino Center for the Arts, which is the Center for the Arts for our county. And
that opens there. They have a artist, Meet the Artist opening November 9th. But it's here in town. The first year I entered, I won Best of Wood. I didn't get in last year due to technicality. But I make sure that that didn't happen again. So I'm back. They didn't, surprisingly enough, last year. Apparently they were looking at the Bobcats to be best in show.
Yeah.
But they didn't accept me last year. This year I put in the Bobcats, the ravens from the magazine, and the bison, and they took the bison and the ravens.
But not the Bobcats.
But not the Bobcats. Even though last year those judges would have given me best of show had it not been a technicality that I was knocked out on.
City of Flagstaff, Beryl.
I shared it on my regular profile. Yeah.
So that's kind of a big deal because it's also it's also I want to say it's an international show.
No, it's a state.
It's a state show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
you have to live in the state to get into to even be considered.
I know when we did Night Visions.
That's a little different.
Yeah, that was international.
Yeah.
And somebody out of state won.
Somebody international won.
Oh, that's right. They're from Canada, weren't they? I think so.
I thought it was France.
Maybe. But
he was here on some kind of art program. All right. So they shall decide raven or leaves. And all I'm doing is just trying to block in so I can erase. This is going to be much lighter, so I'll wait to go back and get that. Right now I'm just trying to... You would think we paid zero attention to her.
Beryl wants to know what technicality. And I have raven, and one for leaves.
The technicality was what I had done, and I'd done it 2 years in a row, not realizing that it may cause an issue. Prior to last year, prior to this year, you could only submit two photo files, a full piece, and then a zoomed in version. And what I had done was, say this was the piece, I would have zoomed in and cut out the eyes of the cat, and then maybe something over here, and I put them, both photos, on one page. But one of the judges last year said that constituted 3 photos and knocked me out. Apparently the 2 other judges argued about it, but in the end I lost. Now this year I had to laugh because this year they allowed 3 photos. Can you figure out why they allowed 3 photos? Because of me last year, I'm almost positive. But I only submitted 2 photos apiece because I wasn't gonna fall for it. I wanted in the show I wasn't, no. So I submitted 2 photos only, a zoomed in version of each piece and then the full piece. So, and the other ones were on paper, and it was suggested to me to stick to wood, even though I'd had paper and piece in there before, paper burning. So this year I just stuck with wood and only did 2 photos and got in. So that was what the technicality was. You do have to be careful with that, because for fine art, they will knock you out however they can, because they're trying to curate it and say that they've got the best of the best, even if it's only a technicality. Yeah. Alright, so I just got some of the dimples in so we could see the roundness, and what I'm going to do is focus on the weight, and then if we have any further questions.
It's looking very pumpkin-y.
Pumpkin-y. Oh, I got my friends in the yard.
Huh?
You put my friends up.
Oh, yeah.
You put my friends up. They're in the yard.
All the decorations?
Yes. My friends. Like, I need to put the timer on so that they're on more.
Well, it was windy, so you weren't having them on.
Well, that, and I didn't want to walk up to the stairs. Just put the timer on.
It's windy today.
It must have picked up because it wasn't earlier.
I'm looking at the tree out there.
Ooh, look at the pretty orange leaves.
Yeah, it's really blowing.
Orange leaves.
So yeah, so stuff is happening.
Yeah.
We're making prints soon.
Website's back up.
Yep. Yeah, I just finished my painting.
Your coffee goddess painting.
Yep. And really happy with that.
In fact, we need to take it to the coffee shop next week.
Yeah.
And let the owner have a chance at it.
I need to put it up for... I'm sorry, not put it up for... I need to put on another
Varnish coat?
Another coat of varnish, which I'm very excited because I have been using Gambar.
No.
Yeah, I was. Not Gambar. I was using...
Liquitex.
No, prior to this.
Krylon.
Stop it. Let me say the words coming out of my mouth. I was using... I can't think of it. Kamar varnish. Is what
that
I was
one.
using.
Like use Krylon.
Well, Krylon's a brand, but it's silly. I guess the takeaway is that it's a spray varnish, and so I mean, and it's good. It's really good, but I'd been noticing that like a lot of my work still looks kind of matte, and so Valarie suggested that I use some.
What do you mean suggested? I bought it so you'd use it.
No, the stuff that I used prior.
Yeah, I bought it so you would use it.
No, I thought you bought that for you.
No.
Not the Liquitex, the stuff before that.
Gambar. I bought the first bottle for
Gambar.
you. I bought it last year.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I did not remember that. So anyway, so I...
Good thing I do.
Found the... Yes, so you didn't find it. Valarie reminded me that I had it.
Yes.
And so I used it, and I was really happy with it. But it takes a long time to dry.
It also works better with acrylic, or for oils.
Yeah, and I do have some oils, but it is multi-purpose. So it does look really nice, even on acrylics. But she ordered Liquitex for me, Liquitex varnish, and that looks really, really nice. So I am going through and I am revarnishing a lot of my work, and so it looks brand new.
Mm-hmm. So. It makes the colors pop, and that's the thing. I still I still had to do a video on varnish to prove some stuff that I know to be correct. But I need to put the proof up there. There we go.
So yeah, so I've got one more coat to do on Coffee Goddess, and then
You still gotta name her.
I pretty much thought that
I didn't name her. You haven't said yes, that's her name, so I didn't name her. That's just what I've said she was.
Oh, okay.
Though I like
I
it.
was like, well, this is what we're doing now.
No, I was being good and not fully naming your piece.
I see.
See, I can name his art real quick, really well.
Yeah, you can go into that 1940s movie director mode.
Let's see here.
You have no blocks when it comes to my work.
I know, it's
What
my
are you
work.
doing? I'm looking at this because I'm thinking about what I want to do. There's no problem, see? Put in a cat there, and a bear over there, and make light shining down, and put glitter everywhere.
But I'm always right.
And call it Bear Glitter Cat. And it'll be fantastic.
But I'm always right. Aren't I?
I say a good portion of the time, your degree of correctness is at a high percentage.
And how high would you say that percentage is?
Well, I'm not going to say 100%.
So 99.9%.
I'm just going to read comments.
Alrighty, I'm just trying to...
Looks like Raven is a choice.
Okay.
Nobody else has chimed in, but you have way more votes.
So what is it about the raven you want me to focus on so that I knew?
What was the question?
Which one, the leaves or the raven, and what do you want me to talk about in regards to burning that?
Ah, okay. Well, Spence says it looks really good. And
Okay.
Burl's not, I'm sorry, I'm almost at odds of how to pronounce your name. Is it
Yes.
Burl or is it Beryl?
I can say burl.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Burl is not getting all of her notifications, so that's why she was asking the city.
Oh.
Spence wants to know, does every piece get named?
I do. May not be the best name. It may be only, so like the bobcats. I think I have them originally listed as bobcats, and then I named them Out of the Darkness. The ravens. For a while, I was calling them Raven 1, Raven 2, until I came up with something. I choose to name my pieces, though I did notice on the judging this year for its elemental, they were looking at the, they were taking into consideration also, which is something new, was what you had it priced at and the name of it, what you titled it.
Yeah, that's different.
That's completely different because that normally has not been a consideration to getting in. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if they were looking for, I wouldn't say less expensive pieces, but not the $10,000 piece because it's harder to sell, or they were looking for, I don't know. They did not give an explanation on that, which made me a little bit nervous because they'd never, but there's new people running it that I don't know.
And I don't know. There could be a lot of different reasons for that.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't know.
You want to see how connected you are to your piece, or basically, what kind of artist you are.
I have no clue.
I name all of my stuff too, and I tend to do duplicates.
Well, most of the time I name them.
I tend to do duplicates of things.
Sorry.
Don't you have some burning to do?
I am.
Oh, yeah, anyway.
Sorry, cats.
Like I might name, study 1 or study 2, something like that. But most of the time I will have specific names for my pieces. Well, not most, all the time I will, unless it's a sketch or something. But I think that that's important. But I also think that if you're doing that, helps you think about your work in a way. Like if you think about like what you've done, like say you do a drawing or a painting or a burning or whatever, you're either in the process of it or you're getting done with it. It can kind of help you focus on like maybe what you meant in during the process of it, or what it means to you, and that gives it additional meaning. And I think also that when you name your work too, that if you're looking for something, and we discussed this last week, I think, yeah, like in this piece here, that Raven is not pecking the cat's eye out.
No, the title is giving the context.
Right.
New year, new friend.
Yeah. So, it helps your audience kind of say, see what you're going for. And sometimes that can be good, because if you have something that is contradictory to what the piece is, then it can give a different meaning entirely to the piece. So, and I think that that's better too than going, with the number system, like painting number 72. And a lot of artists do that, and we talked about this last week, because they don't want the viewer's experience tainted. But as an artist, you're a communicator, and at least the kind of art that I do, and I think the art that you do, we're trying to communicate something specifically to the viewer, and we don't really want to be misconstrued, and so, because a lot of times that message is very important. So,
yes, Burl, they do sell there. It's a museum/gallery.
Yeah. Burl says she would never part with something I named. Well, that's because when you name something, when you name a piece of art and it becomes very personal, it almost becomes like children, Valarie has a different view on this than I do.
Yep.
She can't wait to sell them.
Yep.
Like, get those kids out the door. Get your orphans. Get
Hey,
your orphans.
but they're all of legal ready age.
And your art's like, please, ma'am, I just want to stay on the wall. I'm like, no, you go out in the gallery, you sell yourself. Make mama some money.
Bring it home. Bring it home.
I, on the other hand, I'm very, very empathetic with my work.
I'm not.
And that's why all my art costs $5 million.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
But part of my
I make art to share with other people. I'm not making it for myself.
Part of my pricing takes into account that meaning, like what it means to me. It's like if I take a piece of art that I've made and put time into, and somebody buys it, that's what it's worth to me to part with it. So maybe I'm a little bit more connected to my art. Not connected.
Hey!
No, I didn't mean that in that way.
I can pet the kitty.
I'm attached to my art.
Pet the kitty. See? Pet the kitty. Good kitty. Good kitty. There, I was attached to it. Now I want it to leave when it's done.
Kuruma-chan says, you are an amazing artist.
Well, thank you so much. Who is it?
Kuruma-chan. It was a little bit back.
Oh, now you tell me. I didn't see that. I'm going through the chat real quick, sorry.
Beryl says, why would the price matter?
Because sometimes people overprice their work for the very reason Jason just gave.
Like, all of our work is priced it's based on a per square inch formula, and it's commensurate with the amount of time that we put into the work. So that's not going to change. It's like if you went to a plumber and
I don't get paid by the
got
hour.
your toilet, replaced. It's going to cost you X amount of dollars. It's the same thing with us. It's like if Valarie's, got a piece that's 10 by 12, and I've got a piece that's 10 by 12. They're going to be around the same price, really. It's just that's a formula that we use for consistency and to get the value out of our art.
Well, I don't charge by the hour because I may choose to take longer.
And if you charge by the hour, it would be $5 million.
No doubt. Though I am getting better. I am getting quicker, but yeah. And I don't think that's fair for my client or customer to have to pay because I chose to take more time. So I do try to do a reasonable, and even then I still underprice, but reasonable linear square inch that should take into account. And on a smaller piece it does. On a bigger piece, based on that, I do lose money.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
but that's based on my time. Your time is your work time is different.
It is. And pricing is such a weird thing, Like if you look
Definitely personal.
On the international scale, like we're well below, and a lot of that comes with notoriety and fame and stuff like that. So like, no one is paying $500,000 for a piece of either of our work yet, but it is pretty average for the international community. Like it's what's expected. I think what happens a lot of time, especially in the United States, is that you get people who are way underselling their work, and that becomes the norm, And so, like, if you had a plumber that came to your house, basically, like if you had a plumber came to your house and it's like, all right, I'm going to replace the plumbing, in your toilet, replace your toilet. It's going to cost you, $700. I don't know. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm just saying. Let's say cost $700,
including the toilet.
Right, and then you go to somebody else, and the toilet's okay. It's like functional. It does all the same things.
Gets the poo down.
You're right. Thanks.
What?
That sounds like a Joe Dirt reference.
I know.
It poo down.
It kind of was. I'm sorry. Sugar kicking in.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway.
But that's what the toilet does.
And they charge you $25 for that work. And it wasn't like this.
That's a shitty poo.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sugar's really kicking in.
Sorry.
So
that's a lot of sugar.
So like most people are they're going to buy from the guy who has the serviceable toilet for $25.
Shitty poo.
That's what's going to happen.
They need to name their company Shitty Poo.
But that's not what the rate is, really. That's really undercutting what the other plumbers are charging, and of course you're not getting.
It's artificial price. Not price making, price fixing.
Yeah.
And that hurts other people.
Right, and so then if the other plumbers want to make a living, then they've got to come down, and of course it's not really possible for them to do that. I mean, they can, but nobody is making a living off of that, because
no, it's quantity over quality.
Right, and then that pricing has come about over time, based on the price of materials, the cost of labor, expertise and experience, and of course the complexity of the job. So,
but the thing is somebody wouldn't question paying $700 to a plumber for a half a day's work, labor, and materials and whatnot. But an artist, they freak out.
Yeah.
Even though it's no less, other than you kind of need your shitty poo versus decorations on the wall.
Yeah. Now I have pictures in my head that are not good. But anyway.
Should I do a toilet with the
not.
poo emoji on top?
No, you should not. Good Lord.
Sugar!
Oh no, she's freaking out.
Sugar!
Full body sugar spasm.
Oh my
good Lord.
God.
It just happened. It just happened. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reporting to you live. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to continue to report as long as this is happening. She's spinning around. She's hugging herself. She's put the pins down. There's no fear of fire, at least for the time being.
It's off.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I should get to a safe distance. Perhaps I should call some professional help.
The sugar kicked in. Oh.
This reporter is backing away slowly. I will continue to report as long as I can.
Oh, I can't see.
Right.
I can't. My glasses are all foggy. My eyes are wet.
Good Lord. Okay, Scott.
Sorry, I just hit.
Okay, Scott. It's getting a little creepy.
Oh, goodness. Glasses are dirty. Oh. Whew. Got the vapors. Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. The sugar just went.
So, Greg, there's a thing while you're recovering there.
Working
pricing
on
is
it.
tough, especially if a no-name retired guy like me. Well, Greg, it depends on the quality of your work, because, like if we take the plumber... You gonna be okay? If we take the plumber analogy, I think she's...
Kitty poo.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Take the plumber analogy.
Oh, funny for myself.
You know, it's not cool to laugh at your own jokes. You know that.
I know, I'm trying. Somebody's gonna laugh.
Oh my goodness.
Whew. It's hot in here. Whew. Actually, there's some stuff I want to talk to you, about Greg, but not.
Not right now.
No, well, not right now.
Joker?
Two, it needs to be in private. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's in trouble.
Okay.
Just opinions. Whew.
Whew. I guess what I'm getting at is if your work is up to par, and then you should be getting paid for that. And
yes.
Somebody made the comment, art is not a necessity.
Greg did.
Unfortunately, yes, Greg.
I'm working on his view that way.
It is a necessity, though.
It is.
It's used in so many things, but we have a societal idea about it that it's because it's not, it's not a service industry, or, it's not. Basically, there's a good portion of the population that's like, well, if it's not food or clothing or, car or something, or a service, it's not worth anything. And that's unfortunately a really sad attitude in this country. Oh, good Lord.
I see the in the chat, Spence.
Yeah.
It's a shitty poo. It is smiling at me.
Oh.
Okay, I think we need to put some food on my stomach. I haven't eaten today. All I've had is sugar.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem.
Good.
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
Yes, Beryl, my work is quite a bit larger than Belle's.
It is, but I'm going to be doing
well.
a giant piece at some point when I get time. So I had hot cocoa, the vanilla creamer, and marshmallows.
Good Lord. Oh, good Lord.
Okay, let's bring it back around. Alrighty. So go with your roundness of your object.
You're going to try and recover from this?
I'm going to try.
I think you should just end it.
Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe.
Wait, what are they? I don't know the thing.
Oh, you don't know what they are?
No.
But you should know what they are.
There it
You are...
And possibly just a little bit hopped up on sugar.
Happy birthday, guys. Bye-bye.
Alright. Get the net.
Let me end this.